Let's be real. Most days, the news feels like a never-ending stream of bad headlines. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, even numb, as story after story piles on more anxiety and uncertainty. Whether it's on your phone, the TV, or social media, it can seem like there's no escape from the negativity. But today, we actually have some good news worth celebrating. For once, we get to talk about something uplifting, something that brings hope instead of worry. It's a rare moment where we can pause, take a breath, and focus on a positive change that's making a real difference. This story is about families, fairness, and a court decision that just made America a little more just. It's a reminder that, even in tough times, progress is possible and justice can prevail. For years, many immigrant families have been trapped in a legal maze, living with the fear that any day could mean separation from their loved ones. The uncertainty has been exhausting. Parents lying awake at night, children afraid to answer the door, everyone wondering if tomorrow will bring bad news. But a recent court ruling has handed these families a massive win. It's not just a small step, it's a leap forward, offering relief and hope to people who have waited far too long for a break. This isn't just a technical update, this is about real people, moms, dads, kids, neighbors. These are the faces you see at school drop-off, at the grocery store, or waving hello from across the street. Their lives have been changed in a profound way. Imagine living every day with the fear that a simple traffic stop could tear your family apart. The anxiety is constant, the stakes impossibly high. Every siren, every knock at the door, could mean the end of life as you know it. That's been the reality for countless people. Families who have done everything right, yet still lived with the threat of separation hanging over them. This court decision is a beacon of hope, a statement that families belong together. It's a powerful message that compassion and justice can win out, even when the odds seem stacked against them. It's a reminder that laws should serve people, not the other way around. When the system works for families, everyone benefits. Communities grow stronger, and the country moves closer to its ideals. So, let's take a break from the usual chaos and dive into what this ruling means. Let's give ourselves permission to feel hopeful, even if just for a moment. We'll break down what happened, why it matters, and how it's changing lives. We'll look at the real impact on families, and what this could mean for the future. This is a story about justice, compassion, and the power of family. It's about the strength people find in each other, and the victories that come from standing together. Even when things seem bleak, progress is possible. There's always a chance for a new beginning, and today, we get to witness one. Sometimes, the good guys really do win. Let's get into it. Scene transition. End of scene 1. Let's break down what's at the center of this major court decision, something called cancellation of removal. This legal process is a crucial safety net for many immigrants facing deportation from the United States. For thousands of families, cancellation of removal is more than just paperwork. It's a lifeline. If you've lived in the U.S. for at least 10 years, have close family here, and can show you're a person of good moral character, you can ask an immigration judge for a second chance to stay. It's a way to keep families together and protect people who have built their lives here. But there's always been a big obstacle, the so-called stop time rule. This rule could suddenly freeze your eligibility, making it much harder to qualify for cancellation of removal. Here's how it worked. The government would send you a notice to appear, which is supposed to tell you when and where your court hearing is. But often, these notices were incomplete. They left out the date and time, which are pretty important details. Imagine getting an invitation to the most important event of your life, but it just says, sometime, somewhere. You'd be confused, anxious, and left in the dark about what to do next. For years, these incomplete notices were used against people. Families would be left scrambling, unsure of their future, and many were denied a fair shot at staying together simply because of a technicality. But now, the new court decision has changed everything. The judges made it clear, a notice isn't valid if it doesn't tell you exactly when and where to show up. Without those details, the government can't just stop your 10-year clock. Faulty notices, missing those crucial details, can no longer be used to cut short your chance to qualify. It's a huge shift in how the law is applied. For thousands of families across the country, this is a true game changer. It means more people will have a real opportunity to present their case and fight for their right to stay in the only home they've known for years. The clock keeps ticking for those who deserve a fair chance. Now, families can breathe a little easier, knowing the rules are finally on their side. It might sound like a simple fix, but for the people affected, it means everything. It's about justice, fairness, and hope for a better future. The rules just got a lot fairer, and the system is finally catching up to what's right. Scene transition. End of scene 2. Before this ruling, the immigration process was a maze of confusion and uncertainty for countless families across the country. The system was stacked against families, making it nearly impossible for them to plan for their future or feel secure in their own homes. Take Javier, for example. He's been living here almost 10 years, working hard, raising a family. His wife and 2 kids are U.S. citizens, and they've built a life together in their community. Javier is just 1 month away from qualifying to ask a judge for the chance to stay in the country legally, a milestone his family has been anxiously awaiting. But then, out of nowhere, he receives an incomplete notice in the mail. No court date, no clear instructions, just a vague letter that halts his progress. His 10-year clock, which he's been counting on, stops immediately. Just like that, his chance is gone. Years of waiting, hoping, and following the rules are erased in an instant, leaving the whole family devastated. This wasn't rare, it was standard practice. Families like Javier's faced this kind of setback every day, with little warning and no recourse. The government used these placeholder notices to get people into the system, then turned around and used them to block their eligibility for relief, trapping them in a cycle of uncertainty. Families would go to lawyers, desperate for answers, only to hear, "Sorry, your hands are tied." There was nothing anyone could do. The emotional toll was huge. Families lived in constant anxiety, punished for paperwork errors and bureaucratic mistakes they didn't cause. Children grew up fearing separation, and parents felt powerless to protect them. The old way prioritized bureaucracy over family unity, valuing process over people and leaving families to suffer the consequences. It was a broken system, and it hurt real people, neighbors, friends, and entire communities who just wanted a fair chance. This new ruling isn't just a minor tweak. It's a correction of a deep injustice, a step toward restoring hope and fairness for families like Javier's. Scene transition. End of scene 3. To see the impact, meet the Garcia family. Maria and Carlos came to the U.S. for a better life, built a home, and had 2 American-born kids. But every day, they lived with the fear of being separated. After 9 years, they got a notice to appear, missing the date and time. Their lawyer told them the clock had stopped. They were just months short of qualifying to stay. Suddenly, their future was ripped away by a technicality. They faced impossible choices: take their kids to a country they'd never known, or leave them behind. This was the reality for thousands. Families forced to live with constant, gut-wrenching fear because of a broken rule. Scene transition. End of scene 4:12. Now, let's revisit the Garcias after the new ruling. That defective notice? It no longer stops their clock. Their lawyer has good news. You've been here over 10 years. We can file for cancellation of removal. Suddenly, hope returns. They can gather evidence, get support from their community, and finally have a real chance to plead their case. The focus shifts from a technicality to the merits of their life here. Maria and Carlos can dream again, plan for their kids' futures without constant dread. The ruling doesn't guarantee they'll win, but it gives them a fair fight. For families like theirs, that's a monumental victory. Scene transition. End of scene 5:13. The impact is immediate. Families and advocates are calling this a watershed moment. Lawyers are delivering the best news they've had in years. One advocate described a client's reaction: "For the first time in years, I feel like I can finally breathe." Families are reacting with joy, relief, and cautious optimism. A father in Texas said, "We've been praying for a miracle. Now, my lawyer says we have a strong case." These stories show the profound human impact of this decision. It's more than a rule change. It's a restoration of dignity. It tells families their lives and contributions matter. Advocates see this as a victory for fairness and decency. Today, the system worked. Scene transition. End of scene 6:13. This ruling doesn't just help families, it sends a message across the entire immigration system. It checks government power, reminding agencies they can't cut corners at people's expense. It sets a legal precedent. Now lawyers everywhere can say, You can't use a faulty notice to stop the clock. It forces agencies to be more careful and accountable. When the system is transparent, everyone benefits. Most importantly, this win energizes the push for broader immigration reform. It proves change is possible, even within the current system. Every victory builds momentum. The courts can protect rights and keep families together. Scene transition. End of scene 7:13. So, what's next? First, everyone who can benefit from this ruling needs to know about it. Community groups and legal aid are spreading the word and reopening cases. Pro bono lawyers are stepping up to help. This win also gives advocates leverage to push Congress for bigger reforms. The fight isn't over. There are still hurdles in the system. But now, there's momentum. We can all help by staying engaged, supporting organizations, and urging lawmakers to build on this progress. This ruling is just the beginning of a more hopeful chapter. Scene transition. End of scene 8:13. Zooming out, this ruling is more than a legal win. It's a statement about who we are as a country. America is a nation of immigrants, but sometimes our laws forget that. This decision is a course correction, putting families and fairness back at the center. It's a reminder that children shouldn't be separated from their parents, a value we all share. This is progress, made possible by tireless advocates, brave families, and judges willing to do what's right. It's proof that hope and justice can prevail. Let's celebrate this victory, not just for the families it helps, but for what it says about our capacity for compassion. The road ahead is long, but today, there's more hope. When we fight for others' dignity, we strengthen our whole society. A win for families is a win for all of us. End of scene 9:13.